All right, hello everyone. I was warming up and realized I had forgotten to tune the harp, so that's why we are a few minutes late. I'm sure you'll appreciate not completely out of tuned harps. But it's good to see you all. I really appreciate you all being flexible with the rescheduling. I'm glad to finally be here with you all. So I have a set of 4 pieces for you. It's going to be about 20 minutes of music today, and I realized I forgot to turn on my ring light, so let me fix that real quick. There we go, that should sound better, or look better rather. So today's set of music is going to be a little bit more of an introspective, relaxing set, but they all seem to explore kind of a different facet of that. So that will be fun to go through. The last piece is on the lever harp, so we're going to have like a 1 minute intermission to switch the harps around. But the first piece on the program is Eddy by Neher. This is a piece I've performed a few times, but I come back to it because it's a really lovely piece. We're actually getting ready to record this within the next 2 weeks or so, so that I would share that with you all. The cool thing about Eddy is it is written, about a brook, stream of flowing water. There's a lot of music written on the harp for that, but a lot of the water fountain type music is more of a stationary point of view. So like, you are sitting and the brook is going by you and it all is kind of going at the same speed because you are stationary. This piece, it's a different perspective because it's kind of exploring the perspective of the water. So the current's always changing, whether you're going over rocks, you're going down, waterfalls, you're going through a little placid stream. So it's always changing. So this is a really cool exploration of the movement of water on the harp. So I hope you enjoy Eddy by Neher. I'm going to take a quick look at the chat just to make sure that my audio is working. Okay, good. I still have a little bit of paranoia from my last live stream a year ago where the audio did not work. So I always have to double check. I especially love that that piece really uses the full range of the harp in such a creative way. You never like really get stuck in one section, but it never really feels like you are uncomfortably moving around the harp. So it's a cool little thing. I love that piece a lot. So this next piece, another, very different. All of these pieces are going to be very different. This is Farther Without Traveling by Jacob Mashak. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the name correctly. I forgot to ask about that. This piece is one of those, introspective pieces that really just gives you that space to reflect. There's nothing that's completely jarring about this piece. It's uses spatial notation. So what I really think about as I'm playing this is just kind of thinking about the relationship between the notes. So it's the way it's written. I could show the score later, but the way it's written, like you basically have one line, you have your starting group of notes, and then you have a set of notes that come after. And the really cool thing about the harp on this one is those notes, you still have this relationship between the notes because I'm never going to actually be muffling any notes, except for a few places for pedal changes. But you're able to not only hear the relationship between the two adjacent notes, but really the whole grouping of notes. So that's really cool. So sit back, relax, have your cup of coffee, cup of tea, and enjoy Farther Without Traveling. So I forgot to mention, actually, no, first, the cool thing about this piece is it really does give you that space to kind of be alone with your thoughts. Just because it's so stretched out, there's not a lot happening, but there's enough to, for people who have a brain like me where you can't really handle complete silence, there's enough there to keep you engaged, but you're still able to, relax and be introspective and think. So that's the cool thing about, this style of writing especially. I did want to mention that this piece actually uses a lot of theoretical keys where you're mixing sharps and flats, which is particularly cool on the harp because you can just set the pedals and it works. So there's not a whole lot of framework in there. But really gorgeous piece. It's one of those pieces the more you play it, it's never going to sound exactly the same 2 times, and that's really special. So the next piece is Introspection by Geoffrey Bell. And this was actually one I got via email a couple of months ago and just got a chance to read through it. It was actually a improvisation on an electric keyboard, and then actually transcribed for the harp. It was on one of his CDs, I believe, in 2003. So it's on an actual CD, which is really cool. And the cool thing is there's not a lot of music that was played on the piano and then works well on the harp. But this is one of those pieces, and I was so happy to play it. And I wanted to pair this with Farther Without Traveling because it's a very different type of introspective piece. It's a one that just kind of can take over your thoughts because it has that melody, it has that movement. So in a way it gives you a different kind of rest and relaxation because you can kind of just shut off your brain and listen to the music, get some rest, and then move on. So I wanted to pair these 2 pieces together. So this is Introspection by Geoffrey Bell. believe if I remember that was the first acoustic version. So the premiere of the acoustic version. Really lovely. This is definitely going to be in my, perform again. Cycles of me. Actually, all the music on this program, but this was the first performance, and there will be many more for sure. So I am going to be fancy and switch over to an intermission slide in live streaming software while I just swap the harp really quickly, and I will be back in 1 minute. All right, I am back. Thought I would get fancy there. So this piece is actually an arrangement or an adaptation for the lever harp. This is Introduction of Tempo Guisto for lever harp. This is adapted from Symphony No. 5 by Carl Nielsen. Carl Nielsen, and then arranged for lever harp specifically by Kevin Lay. The reason we had done this for lever harp, I say we, I worked with Kevin on it, but this is his transcription. The reason that we did this for lever harp is because there's a lot of sections throughout this piece where you're really playing in two different keys on the harp. On the pedal harp, that would definitely pose a challenge since the pedals change all the notes on the harp. So if you change the C pedal, all the C's are changed. So you don't have the option to play a C sharp and a C natural unless you're doing enharmonic, which means you're playing different strings. So it's a little bit of a different scenario. Lever harp gives you a little bit of flexibility because you can just either tune differently, which we do some scordatura in this piece, or just set some levers in part of the harp and not set them in the other, and then just switch between those registers. So this one works really beautifully. This is not the premiere. This was premiered last month by a different harpist, but this is my first performance of it. So it's definitely a tricky piece. I would call this advanced lever harp music, which we need more of that in the repertoire. But yeah, excited to share this piece with you all. This will be the last piece on the program today. Oh, you know what? I forgot to move the microphone closer. My bad. I tried so hard to get this seamless transition. You probably did not hear anything I said. I apologize for that. If you didn't, let me know in the comments. I will repeat it after this piece. But for now, I'll go ahead and just start at the beginning, and hopefully you can hear the harp now. So that is everything I have for you all. I'm just going to take a quick look at the chat and make sure that. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to repeat the introduction that I had for this other piece. Whoops. Just because I forgot I had the microphone on the other side of the room while I was switching off the harps. But this was Tempo Guisto by, adapted from Symphony No. 5 by Carl Nielsen, adapted by Kevin Lay for the lever harp. And the reason why it is for the lever harp is because we had, this piece kind of plays in two different keys. So you're switching between, in the original transcription, you have kind of the brass playing, you know, in one range, and you have the winds playing in another, and then the strings playing in another. So on the pedal harp, that would pose a challenge just because the pedals change all the strings on the harp, so in all the registers. So if you change, you know, a string, C natural pedal to C sharp, all the strings on the pedal harp are going to be C sharp. There's not really an option to have, you know, a C natural in one register and a C sharp in another, unless you're using enharmonics, which means you're using different strings. So it's no longer on the harp a C sharp, you'd be playing a D flat, if that makes sense. But on the lever harp, since each of the notes are controlled by a single lever, that means that you can basically preset the harp in two different keys. So you can have, you know, one range in one key, another range in another key, another range in another key, and that gives a lot of flexibility for this type of writing. We did use a little bit of scordatura, so we actually have F flats on the top of the harp, F naturals in the middle, so that means that with the lever changes, we can go between F natural and F flat at the top of the harp, and then F natural and F sharp in the middle of the harp. So it gets very complicated very quickly, but this is one of those pieces that, you know, really works better on the lever harp. Hopefully that gave you a little energy to get through your hump day after, you know, the slower music at the beginning. But that's everything I have for you guys today. I will hopefully be doing another live stream later this month. We'll see. I have a Christmas gig, so I might as well do a live stream with Christmas music later this month. But I hope you're doing well, and I will see you all next time.